Welcome back to Pina Cucina. Today we're making Osso Buco soup. It's one of the easiest things to make, and we used to make this a lot in the winter months back home when I was a child. My kids love it, so I kept making it. Now all we need for this is an onion, a potato, a couple of carrots, some celery, and some Italian parsley. This is all the ingredients we need. Now, this is our Osso Buco. Osso Buco means bone with a hole. Now, the hole has got beautiful bone marrow in it, and that's what gives it a lovely flavor. But this is part of the leg of the beef, which has been cut. You can also use this meat for doing ragu. A lot of people use this as well. So now we're going to put this into the pot with some water, and we get it to start boiling. You need to put enough water to cover it, and a little bit above, and a little bit more, because remember, it's soup. We want lots of broth. Okay, that looks like it's enough. So all we need to do now is just bring it to the boil, and while we're doing that, we get the veggies ready. Okay, now we start with our parsley first. Now this is from my garden, and I always like to put the end bits first because they take longer to cook. So I'm going to leave a little bit of the tips to put on top of the soup when it's cooked. But these things here, they need longer to cook, so we're going to put it in first. Doesn't have to be too fine. Nice bigger pieces look lovely. I'm going to place the stalk sides in there first because I'm going to leave some for later. The next thing, we're doing the celery. I have just washed this. Now you're wondering why it's cut in half. It's just too big for my for my drawer in the fridge. So we're just gonna cut it. Still haven't got the cutting technique done. And we place this in the bowl as well. Next we do the carrots. We peel them. This is a great peel, I love it. It also does pumpkin really well. Cut the ends off. And we just chop it. I like to cut it in half first. Put our carrots aside. It's already looking beautiful, all these lovely colors. Okay, the potato. Some people like to put the potato in like towards the end when it's almost cooked, so it doesn't cook a lot. But I like mine to disintegrate into the soup, so I put it together with the rest of them. And we cut them into small pieces. Next, we'll do the dreaded onions. I just hope I don't cry. We're using a whole onion for this soup, and it's always so hard to peel. Lastly, we get the tomatoes ready. Now, we always take out the seeds. I don't know why, we just do. So here we go. Take out the seeds. The skins come off of this one. Yeah, that's easy. God, this has never happened to me. Look at that. That's beautiful. The skin come off. Must be a new variety of tomatoes. Now we've got the tomatoes all seeded, and we're just chopping them up into little pieces. And if you don't have any fresh tomatoes, you can always use the diced tomatoes in the can. So I like to take the center little piece off because it's always hard. So now we just cut them into little pieces, and we pop this in with the rest of the vegetables. Okay, now we'll check out our meat. Oh, it looks like it's been boiling for a little while. There's usually a little bit of impurities in there after it's been boiling. The best time to remove it is when it first starts to boil, because it forms like a froth on the top. So there it is. It's a little bit of blood and impurities, and we just take it out. If you leave it too long, it'll disappear. But I like to take it out. This looks beautiful, nice and clear now. Now all we need to do is just put in the vegetables. Be careful you don't splash. So we put all the vegetables in at the same time. About 2 teaspoons of salt. You can always add more if you need it. If you find that the water evaporates too quickly, you can always add some more hot water, preferably. Now we're going to let this cook roughly about 2 hours on a medium heat, and make sure that it's always boiling. It needs to be boiling, not wildly, just gently, and you'll know when it's ready when the meat falls off the bone. Our Osso Buco is almost ready, so I'm going to be cooking a little bit of pastina. Italians like to do that. A lot of people like to put extra water into the soup once you've taken out the meat and cook the pasta in there. But I find that it's too starchy, so I like to cook mine separately and then add it to the soup. When you drop the pasta into the boiling water, always quickly stir it because that's the time it will stick. We just stir it and we add some salt. Give it another stir. And if it's not boiling, because once you put the pasta in, it stops boiling, put the lid on, but don't leave it. Stay there until it comes to the boil and then you remove the lid. Otherwise it's going to go everywhere. There we go. Back to the boil, we take off the lid and this should be ready in about 15 minutes, just in time for our soup. Once it's boiling, you don't need to stir it that much. Oh, there we are. Our Osso Buco is beautifully cooked. As you can see, it's come away from the bone. The bone is almost free. Look at that. Beautiful. And now we add the cooked pasta into our broth. We just stir it. And we just serve it in lovely, beautiful big bowls. Put a generous amount of broth. You can sprinkle a little pecorino cheese if you like, some freshly ground pepper. And there you have it. Pina Cucina's Osso Buco Bollito.